All right, in this video we're going to take a look at circuit schematics. What's a schematic? Well, it's a diagram of all the parts and pieces of the circuit, and we're going to use schematics in all the circuits that we build. So let's start with some of the basics. Essentially, straight lines in circuits are wires, and the wires can be doing a few different things. We can have them connected to one another, and in which case we got to draw a dark line to show that's a connection. And then if we have wires crossing one another, sometimes you see them just without the dot, sometimes you see them with a little loop above. These just means the wires cross but don't connect. And every circuit also has to have some kind of power source. So the standard power source we're going to use is the symbol of a battery. Now the positive terminal of the battery is always the longer line, the negative the shorter arrow. And sometimes, typically these batteries will have a set voltage, like 3 volts, 5 volts, 6 volts, 12 volts. Sometimes we're going to have power supplies we use that have a variable voltage, meaning they may be able to be set from 0 to, say, 20 volts. And when we have those, we're going to draw them with a hashtag through them. It means it's a variable power supply, not a specific voltage. All right, well, what else can we have in our circuits? Well, we're going to be building circuits with resistors. Now, resistors are devices placed in circuits that help limit the amount of flow. We've talked about resistance. High resistance meaning you get less flow through your circuit. Lower resistance, better conductors, higher flow. But we use resistors of different values to help limit and change how much flow is going through the circuit. So the standard symbol we'll use is this kind of up and down mountain peak looking thing. And typically, just like with the battery, we're going to label how much voltage is supplied by the battery. Resistors we typically will label as well. You could have a 100 ohm resistor, you could have a 1000 ohm resistor, you could have a 680 ohm resistor. Whatever that is, whatever the resistance is, typically we'll get in the habit of labeling them. We also have light bulbs, which are these squiggly things. You could have a motor, so a lamp. So if you have a motor that you're using the current through a circuit to power a motor, you have this symbol. Then you also have the different meters that you can use to connect and measure different aspects of your circuit. So we could have an ammeter to measure current, which is just the A with the circle around it. Voltmeter to measure voltage. And your ohm meter, which is the omega symbol. To measure resistance. So those are the basic components that we will come across when building our circuits, and those are the diagrams or the pictures we're going to use to diagram them. In the next video, we'll look at how do we put these together to actually build schematics, some of the rules about them, as well as the different patterns and ways in which we can connect them, series and parallel.